investigate serious crime, and we should use means that are proportionate to the serious crime. Of course I don't know what was in the warrant, and of course I don't know what they're looking for, but it's the role of the civil libertarian to be skeptical and not to trust judges and not to trust prosecutors. If men were angels, as Madison wrote, we wouldn't need a constitution. We need a constitution because we as Americans don't trust authority. And we as liberal Democrats used to not trust law enforcement. Now it's the conservative Republicans that don't trust law enforcement, and the liberal Democrats that are all saying, we trust law enforcement completely, the statutes are in place, the rules are in place. These rules are only as good as the people who enforce them, and only as good as the motives of the people who are behind them. And I have to tell you, I do not trust the government. I do not trust judges. I do not trust prosecutors when they are zealously seeking to go after a particular target, in this case, Donald Trump. Nobody would have been going after Michael Cohen if he weren't Donald Trump's lawyer. That's the reality. People don't investigate campaign contribution lapses or campaign law violations generally about people who aren't in the public light. And I just worry that when you have somebody with a target on his or her back, whether it's Hillary Clinton, who could have been elected and the same thing would have been happening to her, or Donald Trump, that civil libertarians ought to express concern. That's all I'm doing, is expressing concern and distrust of government. I don't want to live in the surveillance state, and I want to do everything in my power, no matter who the target is, to prevent excesses from occurring.
You're misrepresenting one thing, which is you're assuming this is a campaign finance violation that is the reason why we're here. But this wiretap required criminal conversations within recent months, long after the campaign ended. So you have to assume that there are other crimes that are being investigated that give rise to the wiretap. And the rest, I can't respond to the rest of what you're saying, because you're basically just saying that our criminal justice system is completely defunct and decrepit and should not be adhered to. And there's no response to that. If you don't trust judges, if you don't trust prosecutors.
Okay, but let's stick on that. Alan, let's just stick on that one issue then of the suggestion here that maybe this isn't just a campaign finance violation. What would you say to that?
It was Lavrenti Beria who told Stalin, show me the man and I'll find you the crime. You can go through the federal criminal code and find crimes that virtually any businessman, any politician has committed. Harvey Silverglade, a great civil libertarian, wrote a book called 3 Felonies a Day, in which he described a game that prosecutors in the Southern District of New York used to play. That is, name a person and go through the code of criminal conduct and find the 3 felonies that they committed. It is so easy to get a warrant. It is so easy to persuade a judge to give you a wiretap warrant. That simply doesn't protect American citizens. And any civil libertarian who was exposed to what's going on here today, if Hillary Clinton were the subject, would be taking exactly the opposite position. There is so much hypocrisy, partisan hypocrisy out there. I don't mind if conservatives take the view we ought to trust government, or former prosecutors take the view we ought to trust government. My gripe is against civil libertarians, criminal defense lawyers, people who are always on the side of challenging government, the ACLU, that suddenly have lost their way and have forgotten what they have been preaching for 50 years because it's Donald Trump that they're after. That is the road to losing our civil liberties, when you allow our civil liberties to be compromised because you're going after one particular person. That's my concern.
And we have Tom Winter here as well, who has the reporting on this in time. I feel maybe this is a good time to bring you in and just clear this.